It seems like we live in a time where we are crippled by fear. And this means that we all need to have certainty in order to move forward, right? And we are incapable of making good choices unless we have all the relevant facts and details and information. Now, I'm not talking about the everyday choices that we have to make in terms of what we're going to eat, what we will read, what movies to watch, that kind of thing. But I'm talking about the big decisions of life, right? Where you're going to go to school, what job you're going to take, your view of God, your relationship choices that you have to make. These are some of the choices that we make that will alter the course of our lives. And it seems like we are incapable of making these choices unless we are certain, unless we are sure of all the relevant facts. Now, that's not a way to live. And I'll tell you why. Because if you live like that, you will always be stuck. You will never move forward. Now, you and I know that we live in a time of fear, right? Fear is the air that we breathe. The after effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and everything around us seems to suggest that we are all very cautious by nature. But what if we lived in a different way? What if we chose to actually be curious about the world around us, be curious about people who think differently from us, be curious about what is out there? Curiosity actually is something that we are all inherently born with. From the time we came out the womb, children love to ask the what questions and why questions. You know, my son and my daughter were like that. You know, Daddy, what's this? Daddy, what's that? And that is, and that is. But they eventually move on to the why questions. You know, they keep on asking, why do we do this? Why do we do that? Why don't we try something else? Why do we do this and that? And the why questions of life are beautiful because inherently behind the why questions is the meaning of life. But unfortunately, our kids grow up, the school system teaches them standardization, it teaches them conformity. And so everyone thinks within a box and everyone must think in a certain way. And because we live in a society that is about extremism and polarization as well, we stop being curious. We stop asking good questions. And in doing so, we end up being stuck, right? We stick to the people who are like us and we choose to avoid people who are not like us. And in doing so, we never grow as human beings. We never experience the true joy of learning something new. See, for those of us who choose to actively remain curious, what happens is our mind expands. Right, we're able to see someone else's perspective. We're able to have a better understanding of the world around us and the reality around us because we are curious to learn. So those who are curious, they tend to be more accommodating, more patient, and more understanding. Those who are curious know that they have to dig into all kinds of sources to find the nature of reality and not just one source. Those who are curious tend to be more optimistic about the future because they know that they can come up with creative solutions to all kinds of problems as opposed to just being stuck with one answer or one solution. Those who are curious are able to see the good and the beautiful and what is true in most things. You know, fostering a curious mindset takes some time, takes some effort, takes some intentionality. But the more you learn, the more you understand, the more you will want to learn, the more your interest is piqued, right? And it puts you in places where you're just so hungry to know more about different people, different cultures, why people think the way they do. And in that, you'll find that you yourself grow because now your very narrow way of thinking, your very fixed mindset begins to change and you begin to grow. This is the beauty of curiosity. This is how we are all born with, and this is how we grow. So I want to encourage you to be curious, to start moving away from a mindset that you have to be certain about everything, to a mindset of questioning even some of the deeply held beliefs that you have had for many years, even for many decades. I know that I would have never grown if I continued to remain stuck in the way I think about everything. My growth has come from an innately curious mindset, and I have that desire for you as well.